Welcome to another episode of VNture Podcast, your weekly source of visual novel goodness. I am MR, and together with Tauros, we shall venture into another discussion about VNs. Today we talk about merchandise, the treasure trove of physical copies, small trinkets and shirts displaying our love and passion about our favorite hobby. And returning once more to share with us wonders of VN merch is Ange. Welcome back!
Hey, it's good to be back for a fourth time. Love being on this podcast. If in case you don't know who I am, I'm Ange, sometimes known as Super Ange 128 or other pieces, but basically I'm just someone who's been in the visual novel community for quite a while. I've been reading visual novels for like over 10 years, and I mostly these days am a visual novel YouTuber that like kind of covers stuff like news, trivia, and occasionally opinions and reviews. So, yep, good to be back to talk about merchandise, which I have a lot to say about.
Yes, we're always happy to have you back, Ange. Thank you. And this is a topic that MR and I have been looking forward to for a while, where we can get down into the details about visual novel merchandise, the physicals, the good stuff. Not just that, but also showing off some of the things we own as well. But first off, and probably the most relevant to everyone watching, is the question, where can we actually get physical goods for visual novels? And you know a lot about that, right, Ange?
Yes, and unfortunately, a lot of that was through a lot of research and trial and error because, sadly, since visual novels are a niche medium, so in addition to that, it makes it harder to find merch, especially official stuff. But thankfully, like I said, I have looked around the block, and there are a bunch of places where you can look for stuff, and it will ship to basically anywhere around the world. So I'd say the first one I want to talk about that's probably the easiest is the Japanese version of Amazon. So it'd be amazon.co.jp. That actually has unlike American American versions of Amazon, they actually sell physical versions of like 18 plus versions of visual novels and eroge. So for example, you wanted to get like, I don't know, a physical copy of Majikoi or like a If My Hearted Wings, it's on there and they'll ship it to you outside some exceptions. But there's also a surprising amount of merch. Like, so for example, one thing I'll talk about later is this Making Lovers I guess it's hard to describe what it's like a wooden wall scroll thing, but yeah, I've got that through there, and that's like an official merch from like a company. But there's various other places that are like Japanese specific stores, like for example.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ange. A quick question about Amazon Japan. Do they ship internationally?
Yes, in fact they do. That's one thing I was always kind of worried about. Like, I was always worried, like, what if you can't find stuff? But thankfully they do, and yeah, I have myself gotten a handful of things from there. So at least for people who live in North America, I can confirm they usually ship there. I can't speak of if you live outside of North America, but they at least ship to North America.
Oh, wow. That makes it a great, like, one-stop shop. If you see anything on there, you can add it to your cart and buy it, and there you go. It'll get shipped to you. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, just keep in mind, kind of like if you were to use any Japanese original site, you're most likely gonna have to search visual novel names by their Japanese names, like with a kanji and katakana, hiragana, and all that stuff. Usually, you could just do that by like copying the name from VNDB or something. But if you're lucky, there might be the name and the original visual novel name might be in English. So like Making Lovers or Fate Stay Night will probably be a lot easier. Just type in, and you'll get results easier without having to find the Japanese titles.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, a few other stores that are kind of like, I would say, are easier to find, like more specific types of, like, for example, like keychains or wall scrolls or even body pills if you like that stuff. There's actually a Japanese version of Yahoo Auctions, so it'd be auctions.yahoo.co.jp. That one, unfortunately, well, as long as you don't mind, they're generally secondhand stuff, so kind of like eBay, but many times they ship stuff that's sealed, so it's still basically new, but it's just you're just getting it from somebody else who just has it, like never opened it. But occasionally it might be something that's pre-opened. They'll usually drag down the price. But similar to Japanese Amazon, you're gonna have to search by the Japanese titles of visual novels to find what you want. And thankfully they also do ship internationally. But you might have to use what they call a proxy. So the idea is you use since Yahoo auctions, the Japanese Yahoo auctions themselves might not ship to people out internationally directly. But the idea of a proxy is there's like another company that specifically is made to ship internationally from like sites that only would normally ship nationally or within the same country. So I personally use something called Buyee, so Buyee. If I want to get stuff from Japanese Yahoo auctions, I actually have a whole video on like how stuff like that works. It's something like the title of the video is something along the lines of how to buy visual novels in Japanese or something. But I'd go more into detail there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've used I think White Rabbit as a proxy service before. And yeah, I mean, they'll usually be able to buy from any major online Japanese storefront, even ones that, don't offer a proxy themselves. But so White Rabbit, or like you said, Buyee, can act as the intermediary. It does rack up bonus charges, though, especially on shipping. So
yes, that
sucks. But hey, it's an option. So having that option is better than nothing at all.
Now, it's so weird listening to you guys, because I don't think I ever used any proxy whatsoever. And I wonder if that's because I get my merch either from Kickstarter or from sites from official publisher for VNN. Because those are two most commonly used source for merch from me, in addition to collaborators, such as the Mona, that did collaboration with Necopara, and Denpa Soft occasionally did physical goods. I did not use any service of proxy or directly from Japan. Huh.
Yeah, the reason I kind of brought those up because it's kind of like the more niche the visual novel gets, the harder it is to find stuff. But stuff like Necopara, that's like super mainstream, so it's probably easier to make partnerships and get on Omanoa, and I can definitely understand if you like those types of series. It's definitely a lot easier. Like I just kind of upfront talk about those because I don't know what your favorite PN is.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm just so basic when it comes to merch that I never had that issue.
I love you mentioned Kickstarters too.
Yeah,
and I'm assuming you mean like Kickstarters for English translations.
Yes.
In those cases, since they're going for the Western audience, any physical goods they'd be offering would definitely be allowed for international shipping. So that's another thing, they definitely want to make it more accessible to the Western fans they're tailoring it for, of course.
Yeah, and specifically on Kickstarter, I always have a love-hate relationship when it comes to exclusive goodies. Do I really want to get the big reward, the big pledge, and the big, let's say, Dakimakura of that character, if I haven't read it, and I don't know if I like that character even? I think I remember one time I wrote to Sekai Project on their customer service, and I asked them, listen, I'm willing to buy a lot of merchandise, and if you guys have it in store after the Kickstarter, is that available? And they answered me, no, it's exclusive goods. And it always irks me. I don't know if it's... My stance on it is still... I prefer merch to be sold after the Kickstarter. I understand that it is very lucrative to make it exclusive because it means people have to spend now and therefore make this project a bigger success. I get that idea. But it's so hard to back for those titles I'm hesitant about. So I don't know. The best way they did, I remember it was Laplace. No, wait. Who made?
Laplacian?
Maybe it was Laplace and the guys who made the Libra of the Vampire Princess.
That.
Because they had a Kickstarter, they had a lot of problems with that. But after the release of Kickstarter, they opened a shop. I think it was Mikandi Japan, but they shipped internationally. And after I played the game, after I liked the VN, I bought merchandise from them. I feel like they did it the best. Now, sadly, their story of Kickstarter wasn't the best one, as they ran into a lot of problems. So maybe not the best example of Kickstarter, but in my opinion, one of the best examples of merch handled after the release.
Well, that's the best way handled for the consumer's mindset.
Yes.
The business, they want to make money, though.
Yeah,
and they got to make it exclusive and stuff.
I know.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. But at the very least, when it comes to the titles I like, and if they ever have a sequel on Kickstarter, I just back them with confidence. And this is probably why, I don't know if you guys heard about those social experiments. Double up and give to someone else, right? Yeah, my Kickstarter on Venus Blood is like, double up on the next Kickstarter. After those pledges go up and up. They do a fantastic job.
Yeah. Sadly, I wish I have much more mixed a much more mixed experience with visual novel Kickstarters, especially when they relate to merch.
Yeah, I'll ask this. Sekai Project?
They're definitely part of it, but they're not. There's definitely not the biggest vendor. But I'll kind of start softball. So Nekoneon did Kickstarters for Alcana and King Koi Golden Overreach, and like MR said, they did the thing where we're only gonna do merch as part of a pre-order kind of deal. You got to be interested, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I'll like these VNs yet, so I didn't even support it because especially since those Kickstarters in particular were all about the merch. But then when when Alcana came out specifically, wow, I'm actually a big fan of Asuka. Now I kind of wish I got something exclusive of that, but now I can't.
Yeah.
But apparently, but the one good thing I'll say about it is at least they actually shipped out things. Now.
Oh man.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, as someone who's spent a lot of money on a couple of Kickstarters, for a quick side note, I've not gotten any physical visual novel merch of stuff that I pledged a lot of money to yet. And these are some Kickstarters that I've pledged to a really long time ago. So, for example, the biggest absolute worst one was the Sharan no Kuni project.
Man.
That one started early 2017 or even before, 2016. They still, first of all, we don't even have the official translation after 7 years. Still nothing. There's apparently a lot of issues, but that aside, I think they made updates. They said that they have the physical merch ready, but they're like, oh no, we'll release the game first, then we'll release the merch. But then there's the actual game is issued, so it in turn slows down the merch. So that whole Kickstarter is just a freaking disaster, and I kind of dislike. I believe it was Front Wing or whoever. Yeah, Tokyo Front Wing who started. They're the absolute worst with that. And apparently I haven't backed any other Front Wing project, but they've been easily the worst. At least, Sekai Project usually gets the most hate around Kickstarters not having their merch flown out, because they used to do a lot of Kickstarters, and the few that I've pledged to a lot of money, I still haven't anything with the most important one for me being a Rewrite Plus. I pledged quite a lot of money because I'm a big fan of KOTORI and such, but at least with Sekai Project, I can at least say they're working on the translation. They've gotten their translations out in a relatively, compared to Front Wing, timely manner. But the merch, I still got nothing, and I have no idea when that's coming.
Oh my god, that has to suck.
Sucks.
Because for me, the closest the experience I had to what you're describing is with Corona Blossom. It was front week title, and I think I had some small trinkets anyway, so I didn't mind. My biggest Kickstarters contributions were on Muvloof, all Necopara and all Venus Bloods. And I am thankful for that because I had no problems on any of those Kickstarters whatsoever.
Yeah, those were the actual good ones where they got you their deliveries.
Yeah, I am lucky with Kickstarter backings. I admit that.
Mm-hmm. But to go back on where you can buy things, for anything that was exclusive that isn't around anymore, there is one solution, and that would be buying them secondhand, especially on sites like eBay, or if you surf some places like Reddit or Facebook enough to eventually stumble across someone who's selling their stuff, and you can maybe jump on that. But of course, that will probably be more expensive, and who knows if the material is still going to be in very, like new quality, or if it's going to have noticeable wear and tear and stuff. But that is pretty much the only option left if you want to try and get that exclusive stuff.
Yeah, although sometimes you can be lucky because, for example, Just made a storeroom cleaning or something like that, and they found out some merch they didn't sell during the Kickstarter, and they did a second wave. So on the next Kickstarter, in this case it was Venus Blood Hollow, they were selling merch from the previous one that hasn't been sold on the campaign, and they had it in magazines or something, on warehouses. And I felt like, okay, this is one of those rare opportunities to get the merch I didn't back and didn't get because I didn't know the game. I specifically remember they announced, okay, at this hour we release the lock. It is first comes, first serve, limited quantities, okay? Okay, fine. I woke up 4 a.m. in the morning. No, wait, it was half before that, because I had to prepare myself mentally when the 4 a.m. hits, refresh all the page all the time intensely when the clock hits, and buy it first. I remember that.
It's like Christmas morning,
yes,
but in a weird, warped competition. Oh, there we go. It's more like Black Friday.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But sadly, something went up wrongly because I got the item, I added to the cart, I went to the next page, but I didn't see it in the cart. I refreshed and it was gone. Someone else got it. So I don't know. Was I first and something screwed up? Was I not? I don't know. I remember specifically I had my alarm clock. Okay, this is the time. Wake up and be ready.
That's
and I didn't get it. Yeah, it's kind of fun, but
all of that for nothing.
Really funny to me now.
Mm-hmm. So on that note, question to you, and I guess Ange first. What's your favorite kind of visual novel merchandise? Because there's a few different. There's like figurines, there's wall scrolls, there's like those pins, keychains. What's your favorite kind?
If I have to pick one, it'd probably be wall scrolls, because so the thing with figures is, well, the problem with figures is it's harder to find characters that I like that even have figures, especially for visual novels. And I'm not really much of a figurine character kind of collector because they just take up space. But with wall scrolls, like I have like all the space in the world like on my wall. So I'm really picky about like which series I want to represent. Like I know some people who just like go like, oh yeah, this girl's cute, let me put her on my wall. But like for me, I kind of go with more, okay, do I really like this series or this character? And I only put my favorite ones. And like I said earlier, sometimes finding a character that you like is kind of hard, but when you do find it, I'm like, okay, I don't care if I have to spend like, I don't know, like upwards of like $40 to $50 for a rare wall scroll. Like I'll get it. So my wall around my little apartment is basically full of like 75% visual novel stuff, and like the rest is like other animes and video games. So yeah, if I had to pick one, definitely wall scrolls.
What?
Well, for me to chime in really quick,
okay.
I would say posters. But yeah, it's pretty similar to you, Ange, and for the same reasons. I have so much wall space, and it's easier to decorate that, aside from some of the other ones that either take up too much space, like figurines, or they're not all that noticeable, like keychains and stuff. But posters, they're great. They can add a lot of a lot of artistry to your interior home deco.
Yeah, I agree with keychains. You pretty much get for yourself, like when you're like taking out your keys, like, oh man, I don't know, I like this character, and then I mean I have like a couple of those, but yeah, I have like those are like the ones I have like the least amount of compared to wall scrolls and even figures.
And what about you, MR?
Huh. Wall scrolls are really neat. I agree with that. But I think if I were to name the one that I like the most, by far, by none, it has to be game manual. By far.
Oh,
Game manuals.
Yes.
Do you mean stuff like art books?
Some of them are incorporated inside the art books. I'll give you an example. Phenomenal job they do every single time with Venus Blood art books because they have detailed description of characters with commentary from developers, with prototypes and sketches, and 2 guest mangas based around the game made by some mangakas that just made a guest short, like a spin-off story. Like, they have the full package, everything, interviews, pictures, arts, everything. It's super. Another good example, Rans Collector's Edition had a game manual that had the entire encyclopedia of world, all the summary of the games before that one, and everything that is going on in the world, in this state that you are in for this title that you're about to read. Like, yes, I want more of that. So the one thing I regret I don't have is the Move Louvre Encyclopedia. I didn't get that one on the Kickstarter.
I see. You once again, your love of game lore is
Yeah.
showing.
Exactly.
You would actually love to get a history book of the
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
That would be, yep. Oh, you'd love that.
Yeah, if they do on the last runs, the big book of the entire series that has all the lore, I'm like, yeah, please give me 2 copies.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be my favorite.
Well, on that note, it looks like we can move on to talking about some of our own personal owned items.
Oh yeah.
So, Ange, you're the guest here. Do you want to take it away and start us off?
oh boy, will I? So, man, where do I begin? So, let's go. Let's just start with stuff I put on the wall. So, yeah, definitely one of my favorite. I'd probably say arguably my favorite is this. I guess it's like canvas art of Mashiro from Making Lovers. That's actually something by that SME, the original developers, did themselves as part of their 15th anniversary, and I got that when I was talking about earlier about what I got through Japanese Amazon. This was it. I spent like $40-ish for this wacky looking canvas art, just Mashiro peeking her head out. But I'm like, this is perfect. This is so me. So I bought that like instantly. But
It's hilarious.
yeah, it's amazing. But
Yeah,
there's
because it's a pretty well known CG of her sticking her head through a hole in the wall, right?
oh boy, is it? It's when it first happens, it's like what the hell is going on? But then like she just goes with it, and there's like all these jokes around it, and it's very funny. Yeah, let's see. I have a just kind of looking through my house wall right now. I mean, I got stuff from I think we have it in the preview pictures, but I actually have something like a little mini poster from Symphonic Rain. It's that's an interesting one. So from a previous episode, I mentioned I go to Anime Expo every year, and at one point the official publisher translator of Symphonic Rain had like a booth, and they had like these previews of Symphonic, like these demos of Symphonic Rain. I was like, holy fucking shit! They're actually, I'd never expected to even hear. And then in addition to the demo, they had like these little these mini posters you can get for free for just being there. Like hey, can I just get a few of these? And like they said yeah, and then I even like got some from some. I was in a Symphonic Rain Discord, and I know some people who like love that game, even though it's like very low key, like underrated, not that many people overlooked kind of the end. But I got like, well, I have to get some for these people, and then I shipped some stuff over, but of course kept one for myself. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so the fact that this something like this is only at an anime convention, I highly doubt I could get again because I'm pretty sure that publisher doesn't do visual novels much anymore. Like, wow, I really lucked out there. Yeah, I guess going to figures, I don't have them like on me, but like I've like one of the first visual novel merches I got was a figure of Kotori from Rewrite, like back when she was like my favorite visual novel character. And like I said, I'm not really big on spending money on figures, but I mean that was like one of the few I've like had for like a really long time. Oh yeah, speaking of other stuff, yeah, on the screen right now is a this is like one of the interesting cases where I had to custom make my own Majikoi handbag. So the art itself, I think is from like some official promo art from like a long time ago. Like, man, this art's cool. So I was like, I wonder if I could like find some kind of Majikoi bag or something, but obviously it's visual novels. They probably don't have any much of that. So like, why not just like use one of those custom art create bag sites? And I don't think it was that expensive. I mean, it's been a while, but it's definitely been one of my favorite things to carry around for example, when I go to an anime convention, especially to like a JAST one, since they publish Majikoi. I like to bring this around. It's just nice to get something like this when Majikoi merch is hard to find as is, especially with the whole group.
Which is a shame because it's such a good series, especially the whole group dynamic, man.
I know.
I can't really tell, and I want to ask, is your Majikoi bag signed?
I think so. Oh my god, if it is, I can't remember. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was like it was. I can't remember who it was. Oh well, yeah, I might have gotten to sign at some point, but I don't remember who.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then I have a bunch of like little keychains and physical copies of some VNs, but I mean, going through that would like take up the whole episode. So I'll just say I've like some of the stuff I've merched for is like Alcana, Senrubanka, Majikoi as mentioned, and I got like the physical Switch version of Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, and then yeah, stuff like that. And what's showing on camera right now is there's this Boku 10 or Boku 10 Why I Became an Angel is like one of my favorite drama Utsuge visual novels, and this is something I believe I found through the Japanese Yahoo auctions. So this is actually a custom calendar back when the game released in Japan, so I think it was like 2012 or 2013. So the days are going to be way off date, but I'm like, well, this is the only one of the few merch of Boku 10 that even exists, so I might as well get it. And it's hanging on my fridge here, even though it's definitely not 2013 anymore, but I keep it up anyway.
Yes, but it still makes for some great art and a good conversation starter.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Anything else you want to go over while you're there, or you want to pass it on?
I don't want to take too much time. I mean,
you're the guest, though.
True. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, this picture on screen right now has a few stickers that, once again, was kind of through limited time luck. So the Matsukaze and the one on the black horse on the left, that's actually from a JAST panel from Anime Expo again at I think it was 2019. Yeah, that was the year they announced Majikoi on Twitter, and then Majikoi was like one of the big themes, and then they announced that they're gonna have like physical pre-orders and stuff. But then like when you go through the panel, they had like limited copies of like this sticker, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think they'd ever do this, and then they had it. And I know some people who are big Majikoi fans, kind of like with the Symphonic Rain thing. Like, and I just got at the end of the panel, I just got a bunch of extras and just gave them out to people who couldn't make it to the panel, because I know they're big Majikoi fans. And then similarly with this Kotori Kanbei from Rewrite thing, he actually had this limited, I don't even know if it might still be up, I'm not sure, but they had this online store. It was like this weird gacha merch system. It was so weird. So,
Oh, no.
so it's like, okay, you can spend $20 to $30, and you get like 3 things of like stickers, figures, and keychains from like random key series, and you don't know what you get. I'm like, God dang it. So I just took the plunge and got like 2 or 3. Like, okay, I know there's like a few KOTOR in there, and thankfully I got one of the stickers. Like, oh, that's the one I kept, and the others I just have laying around somewhere. So, and then the one at the bottom right is when I got the physical version of Doki Doki Literature Club Plus on Switch. Came with little chibis of the main 4, and I like Sayori the most. And I got when I went to PAX West in 2022, I got Dan Salvado himself to sign that. So like, okay, cool. So now it's double memorable in that regard. So
sweet, yeah.
Dang.
All right, that man, what a haul.
Yeah.
I know.
And what about you, MR? What's some stuff you've got that you want to share?
Oh boy, I don't.
You got a
even-
lot. So
Yeah. Where do I even?
please
begin?
don't go on a 3-hour tour of rants.
Okay, so let's start with Muramasa, because I feel like when it comes to merch you can wear, I like minimalistic design, especially on the front. And when I saw the Muramasa's happy coat with only the logo on the front, I felt like, oh my god, this looks so dope. Let's try it. And to be frank, I didn't expect much. I'll be absolutely honest. I did not expect much. I braced myself that it might be of very poor quality, this basic fabric. But no, it's actually really nice. I have to say the fabric is really good. It's just amazing. Like I was pleasantly surprised by that. And the entire package of Muramasa in the big wooden box is wow. The presentation itself, amazing. And they even had the art book presented in a very unusual shape because it was vertical and it opened like a, can I say it? Like a scroll, but in a vertical way. If you think about medieval times when you had someone read it from a scroll that you had to unroll, right? But this is the same, but on the vertical side. It's so unique. Super cool. Everything about it was super, super cool.
I want to talk. That coat, that Muramasa coat you were talking about just ago, right? When I almost considered getting this, but it was the Muramasa thing. But it was before I had read the VN, so I wasn't sure. But then, like, when I saw, I think I was at a JAST panel, like one of the representatives was just casually wearing it. I'm like, dang it! I kind of wish I got it because especially since you say the coat's comfortable. Like,
yeah,
I kind of wish I had something like this.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, as again, I haven't read Muramasa when purchasing that, but I saw that. I saw Nitro Plus. They never let me down on any VNs. So I said, okay, let's try it. I'm buying that.
Oh, wow, he took the plunge.
Yeah, I took the plunge. Yeah, I took the gamble. And speaking of wearables, oh my god, my favorite hoodie has to be the Nekopara one. It's just so hilarious with what they did.
Nekopara hoodie?
Yep, Nekopara hoodie.
Yo!
On the front, it has just a bell. Just a single bell on the front, and on the backside, it takes the sister from the protagonist, who is probably the main strategist when it comes to business. Cat Paradise, and said she is planning the world domination. It was so hilarious. I had to get it. Yeah. So yeah, and continuing on when it comes to wearables, my favorite combo. When hanging with other wheat adjacent people, let's call it, is wearing the Rams t-shirt and Nekopara hoodie. It's the best combo. I love it.
Rants t-shirt and a Nekopara hoodie. What a combo.
Yeah, and just to quickly showcase that t-shirt. It's a t-shirt that Lowly, the one who helped us set up this layout on this podcast, also helped me design it because we made it as a custom order, exactly like the tote bag that you mentioned, Ange, yourself. I made a picture that was a trimmed logo of Rans X. I rotated the sword, put it on a black t-shirt, said it fine. And it turned out really cool. Very minimalistic, the way I like it. So yeah, this is my favorite combo to wear. But there wouldn't be a merch episode if I weren't mentioning Kickstarter rewards, of which I have a lot, especially from Venus Blood. So yeah.
Official merch.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is official merch from their Kickstarter. And just like you guys mentioned, when it comes to walls, I ordered canvas art that I can display on the walls. I have plenty of space for that. And wall scrolls from the main title screen. And okay, I have a lot of Dakimakuras, okay? I'll just say that outright. I don't know.
Oh boy.
I think at this point I have like 7. I think 7.
Do you cuddle with one each day of the week?
Oh, sorry. I have 3 Dakimakura as in pillows and around 7 or 8 covers, but I didn't open like 5 of them. I just collect them from Kickstarter.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I have only 3 completed Dakimakura, let's say. Yeah.
But 2 of them that are opened.
Yeah, it's from Nekoparo, okay? Don't judge me.
No, that's okay. You get a pass.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and speaking of interesting merch, I have the steel mug from Venus Blood that I am drinking right now from. I love it.
A steel mug? Like,
Yeah.
like a cup?
Yeah, a cup.
Ooh.
Yeah, really cool. I drink hot coffee from it and there is no problem. It's not like super metallic and I cannot touch it. No, it works. If I have to say anything when it comes to coffee, it's on the smaller side. Yeah.
Very cool.
And even more Venus Blood. And exactly like I mentioned before, the art book contains all the world lore. I mean, some of the world lore, interviews, and a bonus manga by guest mangakas. It's just full package. Yeah, I love it. And the same is, I just put the screenshot from runs. I think this is Sengoku runs that explains the entire world, the country you're in, and the state of the nation of all the warring factions. This is so amazing. I love it. This is like, and
That's a very MR merch.
yeah, and it's well translated. It has everything, even those niche and quirky nerdy lore you may not experience in the game itself, but affects it, because that's how the world works from the 6 previous titles. Yeah. Oh yeah, and obviously I have some figurines, although funny enough, I never sought out to buy figurines. The Muveloof Sumika one is from Kickstarter, so it was just included. The one from Blaze Blue was something that also was included, collector's edition. And the 3 others are all gifts that I got from my friends that went to Japan. So I never bought, I just got figurines, and that's my collection.
You even have a glass case for him too.
Yeah,
It's you sure you just accidentally wandered into the whole figurine stuff?
No, don't say it like that. My glass display is segmented in such a way that on the top there are figurines. On the middle portions I have stylized gifts, because it's super hard. Okay, maybe I should have included that, because that's a very unique. I got a chocolate liquor stylized as Chocola from Nekopara.
Chocolate liquor?
Yeah, chocolate liquor, the alcohol.
Stylized
with
Chocola character?
Yeah, because someone made a maid uniform and put it on the bottle, on the glass bottle.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's so unique. I didn't take a picture. I might put it in the comments. Because now I'm looking at the display on the details. On the next level, I have all the physical games, and on the bottom, I have some books displayed, and that's my glass display.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And I just posted some screenshots from inside the art book from Movelook, because that's probably why I outlined when you were asking me about favorite merch type. It mostly art. It doesn't contain those lore I really love. So that's why I specifically said game manual, because I cared more about the text than the images, although images is always a good thing in those art books. Yeah. Oh, and I promised you to tell you about the poster, the wanted poster that I have on my wall. It's from BlazBlue. It's from the game itself. There is a moment that the police force is looking for protagonist, and they have a witness, from which they drew a sketch of his face, and it looks so terrible on purpose. And it's shown in the game in CG. Everybody reacts to it like, "Whoa, who's this ugly person?" Even he himself was like, "Who should this be?" And I had to get it.
A whole scrunched up face.
Yep.
It looks so little like what he actually looks like.
Exactly. I had to get it, and it's displayed on my wall because this looks so hilarious.
This poor guy.
Yeah. And I have one wall scroll from the Data Life. If I remember correctly, I bought it along with their VN. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, Okay, last weirdest one, I promise. I have... this is from the Libra of the Vampire Princess that I mentioned before, that I backed after their Kickstarter, after I played the game. I liked it enough to help them with money by buying merchandise. And this is a wearable blanket. And I said, this is so weird and wacky, let me wear a blanket. So I bought it. It has holes for arms. It kind of behaves like a inverse cape.
Okay.
Super wacky. And that's all my merch that I prepared today. So Tauros,
Goodness
hit
gracious,
us.
you're loaded.
Yeah.
In my case, I do like to get physicals of the visual novels themselves, which isn't always easy because a lot of them are really old, or they were never released outside of Japan, or they're just out of print.
Uh-huh.
Especially for something like Ever 17. It's like the company doesn't exist anymore. But I do like collecting the physicals. Its digitals are very convenient and whatnot, but having it something that you can hold in your own hands feels way more real, you know? So at the very least, if I'm trying to get old classics or things I really liked, then that's like some high form of praise for me for some of my titles. Like there's the Muv-Love series, the Kickstarter I backed.
Nice.
Ever 17, like I mentioned, Kara no Shoujo 1 and 2. But probably the one I'm most proud of is Fate Stay Night and the Hollow Ataraxia box set. Fate Stay Night was only released as physicals like twice. Once was when, the literal very first release when they were still a small company, just starting out. And then the other was for a 10th anniversary box set, which I have, which was only released in Japan. They had another physical set, I think for the 15th anniversary, but it was on a USB stick.
Oh.
So yeah, exactly. You'd buy the whole box set and it'd have the cool art books and all of that, and then you get to the physical itself and it's a USB stick, and that's just not the same for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I, if you think about it, there really shouldn't be that much of a distinction between like a CD-ROM or a DVD and a flash drive, but just come on. I don't know. Maybe that's just my outdated way of thinking or something.
Yeah, but I agree.
I also have a few box sets from several key items, mostly from buying secondhand through others who were looking to sell parts of their collection. And I'm very happy that I'm able to take care of them. But yeah, one other thing I wanted to talk about is I made some fan art myself of Phoenix Wright. And you might have seen it scrolling along if you're watching on the visuals. But there's things called perler beads, where they're different colors and you line them all together in a grid. And then you apply a heat source to melt like the tops of them so they run together, and then they solidify together, and you just have one connected piece. And in this case, I made one of Phoenix Wright. And yeah, I made it myself.
Damn. Looks so cool. Very unique, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm glad too. It's been a semi-permanent fixture on like my corkboard and walls as I've moved throughout the years.
Does he scream objection if you have a bad plan?
I do. I didn't take a picture of it right now, but I have a massive, like 1 foot by half foot whole objection that I made out of perler beads as well.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, maybe I'll post in the comments if I remember, but it is huge together. And it's actually a pain to put up on the wall and to carry around with me because it's like, oh god, I'm going to break this. But yeah, I really love perler beads. I had a phase where I was making a ton of them.
Nice.
So cool.
And then I have other various posters and figurines too, but I'm going to be honest, a lot of them are Fate Grand Order related.
Yeah.
I can't really take a picture of them for this VN episode, so I'm sorry, everyone. So aside from that is pretty much all of my visual novel merchandise. I mostly stick with the titles themselves, but I'm very happy to have them all.
Yeah, and since you talked about the physicals that you know and love, the physical editions, does that motivate you to play them? Having them physical editions?
I know what you're getting at.
No, answer the question.
You really want me to read Baldur's Sky?
Maybe.
It's like, okay, I'll get to that when I get to that. I don't know, man. Goodness gracious. But on that note, yeah, it looks like we've all wrapped everything up.
Yep. Okay. So thank you everybody for listening in, and again, thank you, Ange, for coming in and sharing all your merch and your experience with buying it and obtaining. Thanks.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, hopefully helps some of you guys buy your own merch and inspires you guys to get some merch because there's some good stuff out there.
And also, quick shout out to some of our listeners, especially Ostjux, who has contacted me about how he found us on Spotify. So thank you. For anyone who doesn't know, we are on Spotify and YouTube. So check us out.